Welcome to our final round bag of 2013. Thanks everybody for coming. You're probably wondering why we're in this room. There's a good reason. Because power went off in this building 3 days ago. We don't have any heat. So we decided to bring everybody in the room. You're looking at me like, serious? It's a joke. You know, the whole downtown thing, City Hall. Yeah. Anyway, no, we felt that there was a function going on in the other room that was really noisy, which has since broken up. Always happens that way. But we felt that we could go ahead and have a quieter environment here for our guest speaker, Bob Wilson. Bob is back. Who remembers Bob from earlier in the year? Kind of looks like Santa Claus. Bob is going to be talking today about, I got to read the thing here, healthy eating and drinking tips for the holidays. You're talking about water, right? Hydration and Gatorade and that kind of thing. Well, So today we're going to have Bob do his presentation. After his presentation, Lilia's going to talk a little bit about the Adopt a Family program. She has some needs for that, correct? And one more thing we're going to do. I can't remember.
The drawing.
Oh, the drawing, right. Yeah, we're going to have the drawing. Right.
Don't forget the drawing.
Yeah, right. All right. So without further ado, I'd like to, again, welcome Bob Wilson to talk about healthy eating and drinking for the holidays.
Thank you. Woo. Ho, ho, ho. Happy holidays to you all. Wow, it's so wonderful to see you.
All right.
And so it's a pleasure to be here today. I've worked for Kaiser for 24 years, and I really love it. And
Talk a little louder, please.
I've worked for Kaiser Permanente for about 24 years, and it's a wonderful company. And so, as we're here today thinking about, thriving through the holidays, how do we cultivate balance in body, mind, and spirit? And I was wondering, have any of you signed up for the Maintain, Don't Gain program at Kaiser Permanente so far? Anybody? Yeah, a few of you. So I encourage you, you still have till 4 weeks left of the holidays, so this is your chance. I want to step back a whole level, though, and really look at beyond just typical, as we'll look at managing food choices and other activities in our life. Really setting our intention for ourselves in our life. So the Maintain, Don't Gain has an intention here, and it mentions that I pledge to enjoy this holiday season. How will I do that? By being more thankful than stressed, focusing more on the true meaning of the holidays than on commercial distractions, and ringing in the new year with family and friends instead of focusing too much on food and alcohol. So really thinking, wow, reboot our whole idea and really trying to allow this holiday season to be one of relaxation and restoration and harmony for our own selves and those we connect with. So how does that sound? So that's our mission possible. But how in the world do we get there? So we want to use our vast experience in this room. What we're going to do today is check in to see how our holidays and seasons have been in the past. Look at some tips. But then each of you, I want to come up with your own plans and then share with a partner nearby. So we can really use your planning muscles so each of you know what exactly you're going to do with all this information that you're receiving today. So this is our mission possible for today. Well, I'm wondering, have any of you gained weight during the holidays or gotten off track in any past holidays? Anybody? Wow, just a few of you. Wow. The rest of you, now you should be up here. I want to ask for your tips and things of how you've done this if you haven't. And ask you, really thinking about yourself, anyone want to share what happened to you last year during the holidays? Did anyone find yourself getting off track and through any hindsight, did you now understand a little bit more what happened? Anybody courageous to share? Anyone want to share?
Yeah.
Sure.
The eggnog got left at my house after Thanksgiving.
Oh, and then what happened with the eggnog? Spontaneously jump out of the refrigerator and say hi?
There are starving children somewhere, so...
Absolutely. I love eggnog too. Anyone like eggnog? What does it go well with?
Brandy.
Yeah, it's all around. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So just that one thing there is easily to get you off track with it. Anybody else? Any experiences with your holidays past? No? Yes?
I was pregnant last year and used it as my excuse to eat everything I was like. I'm still carrying it today.
So to hindsight, perhaps, we realize holy petunias, that maybe wasn't the best choice to make, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have a PhD in screwing up. So I understand how all of us. I've kept off 250 pounds for about 41 years, and drug and alcohol free for 26. And I worked at Kaiser for 24. But I've been able to use these tools to help me thrive. So I actually have about 700 hours of sick leave saved up. And my goal is not to use it. So that's the experience of working with these principles. So the idea is to first learn about our own self and our vulnerabilities. So and I appreciate your courage sharing. We each have those vulnerabilities. So the key is to use your natural intelligence and strength to understand your areas of limits and vulnerabilities, where do each of you personally seem to get off track and what happens. And I'd like to ask you to get that handout, Explore Having a Healthy Holiday. I'm going to look at that and have another one too. Now let's be honest. We're Kaiser Permanente. We are sort of party-hardy people. Let's be honest and ask, what typically happens during our holidays? Aren't they filled with people, events, special occasions, food, alcohol, food, and what is the focus typically on during many gatherings? Food, is that right? Yeah. I mean, all around, everywhere, we connect with food. Does anyone here find it tempting or challenging not to overdo food when you're in all those environments? Yeah, it's very human to do that. And so really to look at that. And I wonder, now this is also an important question. Does anyone here ever overbook yourself during all of your holidays? Anybody done that? Now be honest, stick those hands up. I just can't imagine that everybody here is so balanced. This is great. You'll again have to show us how to do that. And have you found also that overeating is encouraged during all these events, right? And if you were on a plan of moderate eating, you say, oh man, get off that diet stuff, right? Just enjoy it this once, right? Isn't that the kind of thing they tell you? So it's really easy to get off track. So with all that environment that we all know, because haven't we been through a few holidays together? I mean, many of these we've seen, right? So be aware of that in our journey. So what can you learn from them? So we want to explore in the middle of the page of the handout, Having a Healthy Holiday. It asks you to explore your commitment to yourself. What could help you stay on track during this particular holiday? So I'd like to ask you to write down, take a moment to think about your commitment to yourself. What is your intention for yourself, for healthy living? What would inspire you to stay on track during the holiday season? What's your motivation? What could keep you on track? It's going to help your vitality increase and thriving. Because at Kaiser Permanente, we're the people who care for many people in our community. And we do so with passion and intelligence and integrity and character. But have you ever found out sometimes that your own life gets out of balance as you seek to support and care for other people? So I want to have a step back whole level and remind ourselves that we're each a wonderful, we are individually a wonderful organization, and collectively so. But we can achieve our mission as we most embrace our own highest level of health and well-being. So think about for yourself, this holiday season, what will help keep you on track? What is your commitment to you? So take a moment to write that down, because this will help you think about, well, why do I even want to apply any of this stuff? How could it be valuable to me? Why would I want to do it? Does anyone need a pen, by the way? Didn't have a pen. Okay.
Thanks.
Sure. And isn't it? Does anyone want to share your commitment that you wrote down? Yes.
I wrote down drink water, because it's the one thing that I tend to lose when I get busy. And secondly, if I can incorporate my exercise in the morning, I tend to feel better about myself, and I tend to remember that I did something that was fitness focused, and I tend to eat better later in the day.
Wow. Now when you do those things for yourself, ultimately what does that help you achieve?
Everything.
So
It helps me be a better mom.
Ah.
It helps me be a better employee.
And that's what I put down on that sheet. I get to be a better mom, a better employee, I feel better. Anybody else? Yeah.
I did the same as Shana, but I said to stay healthy so I can enjoy my family time.
Yes, absolutely. So that's really so important. Our gift to our families and our connections. We all care about one another, but we get so busy and overwhelmed we get distracted. And sometimes you ever get sick then because you've gotten so out of balance in that. So that considering your commitment is really a really important first step, because that helps you then solidify what am I working towards and why is this important? Because that's your inspiring purpose. Does that make sense? So as we do that then, remind yourself of how good you'll look and how successful you'll feel, how your relationships with others will be improved, and you'll thrive in body, in mind, and in spirit. So that's a very powerful thing. Now, we want to look at then the second, if you flip to the second sheet, there are some tips here. We want to look at some tips before we actually have you come up with your own plan. So you see healthy eating and drinking tips for the holidays. Now, it may include water, but other things. Now, do any of you find that during the holiday season your healthy living routines can go amok? By the time you get off track, that you find yourself pulled in many directions? So like the lady shared, remind me of your name up front, you shared about your children.
Shayna.
Shayna? So Shayna shared, you mentioned about your family, that really helps. So having structure so that you have time in the morning to be active, you have time to drink water, you have time for rest. Anyone find sometimes you don't get adequate rest? Right. How about connection with others that fill up our spirit? Anyone ever here have the thing called quiet time? Anybody just do nothing every once in a while? I know that's un-American, but try it out sometime. Try it if you like it. So just really having an opportunity to pause for your cause and reflect on it. So that's what we call flexible structure, but it really helps you learn to balance your life. So the top suggestion is eat something before you go. Now, has anyone here ever tried to kind of bake calories all day long before going to a party, and you're going to be so saintly at the party you were, and what happens? Anybody? When you do that? You overindulge, right, yes. And then, of course, you bulge. I thought it was a great idea at the time to save calories, and so research shows consistently human beings are not good. When you're over hungry, you will overeat. So really eat a small, what I try to do is to eat like salads or different low-calorie, healthier foods before going to some events, at least something to take the super hunger off, and eat during a regular schedule. So have regular foods during the day. Don't starve yourself. This is really a good tip. Now, also eating foods that are special for the holidays. You ever go to holiday parties and things where there's just a lot of chips and dip and that kind of normal stuff that you see? So why spend time and energy and all the calories on eating those things? Maybe eat something that's special that you haven't had before. And so that might be something, a special holiday treat, and make allowances for it. But really plan it in and really celebrate it in the way we're going to talk about in a minute. So really decide what will be most appealing for you, I think is really essential. Okay, so that is another tip. Also, use a small plate. Anyone here ever have trouble with portion control? Now what happens when you use a big plate? You fill it up too? Yeah. But now what would happen if you chose a smaller plate?
We go back to the
Maybe
second.
two.
Well, you could go back to the second, but you could pause after your first plate, right? At least you have the option. What happens if you have a whole big plate of food in front of you? You finish it, yeah. So I actually take a note and I carry this in my pocket with me to different events. I'll pass it around. It's very simple. It says, remember, Bob, it's not your last meal, dear. You'll be able to eat again. Have you ever noticed that whimpering takes over and drooling? I want more, right? So if you notice that kind of behavior, at least internally, you don't show it externally, of course, but you realize, oh man, so much food, so little time, darn. So if you can, remind yourself to go there to see the people that provide the food. What a concept. I mean, Aren't holidays a form of connection with human beings where we love friends and family, we get together with special groups that we may not see, but we are thinking about, oh, all this wonderful food. Hell, you don't care who's there, just make sure they bring the food, right? So I encourage you to step back a whole level and think out of the box. Say, okay, I'm going there to see the people, the food is secondary. So try on that new view, and bring that note with you because it really helps. I used that a number of times. Of course, no, but I'm full and all this great food just came. Well, sweetheart, there's another day, dear. But that's some of the things to think about. Also, let's see here. Creative garnishing. Also, bringing foods with you that you can eat, I think, is really important. So I want to share with you some of the things that I've done, and I'll give you some places where you can find this information. I searched on the internet for Christmas tree relish tray, and there was a wonderful site that showed you how to make a wonderful Christmas tree relish tray. I also searched, and there was another one also for Christmas tree relish tree as well. I personally have done my own kinds of creative garnishing. So here, actually for a wedding potluck, I did lavash heart-shaped crackers with garbanzo spread, and I put little teddy bears there and orange flowers. I always like to include flowers in my presentations. So that's one way to have creative garnishing. It was very unusual. People loved it. Also, very simple, potluck in the summertime, you can go to any store and get flowers. So I put a flower vase in the center here. All this is a platter with fresh strawberries and fresh pineapple cut up with the flowers. Very simple. Everyone loved it. It was very, very easy and very delicious. Well, I have several friends who don't eat sugar, or a lot of it. Here's a friend's birthday cake. I made it as a healthy sandwich cake. And it's done with flowers, and this is actually a sandwich in there with pureed cottage cheese on the top with seasonings. And I've even made wedding cakes for friends who would have the same principles in it as well, too. So if you search online for healthy sandwich birthday cake or that kind of thing, you can find that information online. I've even done it as I do garnishing for the table, making food appealing and attractive. 2 weeks ago, I had 2 or 3 potlucks in one weekend. You have that same kind of thing happen to you sometime? Like, oh my gosh. So I did something very simple. All this is Trader Joe's petite zucchinis. They were in a little bag. You microwave it for 2.5 minutes. Take them out of the bag, cut them up. Take raw baby peppers, mini peppers, and put them on the platter in radiating rows. And I had outside a winter blooming camellia. That's the pink one right there. But I just put those on, and all it took is like 10 minutes to make this thing. It was gorgeous, very simple, and I could bring something that I could eat that was a healthy addition to the meal. Now, Kaiser Permanente also has a whole series of really cool recipes, and it's on that sheet. It tells you about kp.org/recipes. And there are many, many ideas for healthy holiday foods and meals that you can have. Also, I want to put a plug in for our kit in our Health Education Services catalog, which has tons of ideas to thrive, keep crispy, not just through the holidays, but beyond. Okay, they also have the weight management kit in case you find yourself storing excess energy after the holiday season, which is very common. Then this is a way to manage that energy. So this is sold at our pharmacies, dental offices, as well as in the catalog, and it's a great resource also in case that's an area for you. I'll pass these pictures around. Take a peek at them. And you can see there are many creative ways. So does anyone here ever do holiday garnishing, creative food cooking? Anybody? Wow, not a lot. So you can see though, the steamed vegetables is pretty simple, right? You can do that with some flowers. That's not too hard. Now for those bold and wild ones, I want to say you can get for 1 cent at Amazon how to make a Christmas tree here at Julia Creative Gourmet Weinberg Creative Garnishing. There's how to make a Christmas relish tree. You can get these for a penny. Also, if you're very creative, I can just see you, this group here, actually making probably Chinese appetizers. This is the Good Luck Dragon. This book you can get for 1 cent. So just to look at it is inspiring. And it has simple garnishes, not as complex as this. Okay, but I'll pass that around for you to look at. So you can get inspired to do something kind of fun. Bring your own dish. Now, was mentioned also, somehow incorporating some way to move your body. Give your tush a push. Now, how many people here have a regular tush-push series of activities set up in your regular life? How many people are regularly physically active? Woo! Good for you. Keep up the great work. Now, how many people find yourself struggling right now with that? Okay, I love it. Thank you, and good for you too. I want to suggest you do a search on the internet for a video, a YouTube video called 23 and a half hours. It's 9 minutes long. It's wonderful. Talking about how to give a half hour a day of some kind of movement in your life. You can do it in 5 or 10 minute increments. That's really quite doable. Okay? So keeping that simple. Now, so that's important. Also, does anyone here, now let's be honest, really enjoy food? Good. That's important. Now, since a number of you enjoy food, do you ever find yourself paying 100% attention to what you're eating? Or do you ever find yourself distracted by other things? Reading, writing, watching TV, doing a computer, driving, anybody? So all those kind of things could distract us. So I encourage you to pay attention. For optimal pleasure, you want to use all of your senses and really look at food, smell it, taste it, touch it. Really celebrate the pleasures of food. Typically, the greatest pleasure from a bite of food happens in the first 1 to 2 bites. And just check it out. And after that, you'll notice that the pleasure diminishes. Now, have you ever been in a potluck and gotten some food that looked really appealing, but tasted crappy? I mean, it didn't taste good. It was flavorless. Have you ever got a birthday cake? I mean, the icing is so beautiful. Looks great, but when you taste the cake, you wonder, sponge. Ugh, gross. Well, consider not eating it. Yeah, your body is not a garbage disposal. Just toss it, don't wear it, right? So that's the way. Toss it, don't wear it. Or eat it today, wear it tomorrow. Yeah, so pay attention. Quality trumps quantity. You want to choose foods that help you feel good. Now, has anyone here ever overeaten on special events? How do you feel afterwards? And does it give you pretty perkiness? Do you feel excited, like jumping around? I think I need a nap, right? Where you go to bed and go, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. Believe it, sweetheart, you ate the whole thing. So at that point, then you want to chill out. So I encourage you, really notice when you're satisfied and stop eating. And remember, it's not your last meal. You will be able to eat again. We're very fortunate in this country. Okay, that's a tip. Also, is there anyone here, now please be honest, who can resist anything except temptation? That's me. I don't know about you, but if I'm near the food, research has shown that human beings don't resist temptation well. And if you're near the food area, and you keep seeing all this beautiful food, and you just go back over, right? Has anyone done that? And you sit near the food table and eat way too much? So position yourself away, and so you don't have to be tempted by all the food, would be a suggestion. And now, time to have a drink. Well, drinking certainly can be an aspect of celebrating during the holidays, but be aware that sometimes your intention towards healthy eating goes out the window in direct proportion to the amount of alcohol you might use. Beer, by the way, has 140 calories for 12 ounces. Liquor, 100 calories a shot. Too many shots and you get shot. And wine has 135 calories for 6 ounces. Wow. So it's easy to overdo that also. You can drink yourself overweight. Okay, so that's one of the things that can happen. Really, I encourage you to really focus on how good you'll feel during the holidays as you think of going to these different holiday occasions. So you can see, I hope, that you really don't have to give up having pleasure during the holidays, but think about managing it effectively. So how are we going to do this? Our role in health education services is really to celebrate your unique qualities and talents and realize, though, that each of you are different and unique. The family situation you're in is unique. And so what you need personally is going to be a bit different. So really our key skill we encourage you to learn is how to be your own lifestyle coach, your own personal trainer. So do you want to pick up, does everyone get a copy of My Personal Action Plan? your hands, and then flip back to the starting of exploring having a healthy holiday. So you want to look through that, and you'll use two pieces of paper, okay? And turn the action plan over to the back page. So we'll be ready to write on in just a minute. I know it's hard with some of you because I have a bunch of papers. Also, so as you look at exploring having a healthy holiday, think about on the bottom of this page. We want to use our planning muscles. So to plan ahead then for the upcoming holidays, the rest of the season, between now and Christmas. By the way, my birthday is on Christmas. I was born on Christmas Day, 1950, and I'm going to be 63 in just less than a couple weeks.
Wow.
So you keep getting chronologically enhanced to keep the same body, but it changes. So think about the events before going and ask yourself, wow, what will happen? So at the bottom of that page, I asked think about this year. So really think directly about the events that are coming up. What could you do differently this year than you did last year? Now think about it. If you had the power to design a wonderful, positive holiday experience, what would it look like? Because you're the designer of your own experience. What would you like to have? What would have to be done to increase the possibility of this wonderful experience happening? But we also want to be honest. Sometimes there are obstacles. It could be work, it could be family, or friends. It could be your own mind. I don't know about you, but my mind and my heart frequently dreams up commitments my body flat ass can't keep. So I don't know about you, but it's just way over the top, too busy. So think about for yourself, do you need time to pause? So obstacles. What kind of support also would you like from others to be successful? And also what specific things can you do to help you stay in control? Okay? So you want to take a minute then to then use for your goal action plan. Think about your own actions in this area. So what's your goal for this holiday? That was you made a commitment. What would you like to achieve during this holiday season? Write that down at the top. That's your goal. So take a moment to do that. We're actually going to, because you want to come up with your own plan. We just went over a lot of tips that you can pick and choose from, of options. But what for you personally would be meaningful? So if you can, think of your personal inspiring purpose. And it may be different than your family or your friends also, or your other family members. Okay? So think of your goal for yourself. Consider it a gift-wrapped wonder that you're providing yourself. It's not just for your family. It's not even just for Kaiser Permanente. It's for you. And really letting yourself know, dear one, I really love and care for you. And I'm going to show you I care for you by making time and commitment for you. So think of them, which after you bring down your goal, how will you achieve that goal? Well, what of these steps or things will you need to put in your plan as you're doing this? So how will this happen? This week, think of this week specifically. What will you do that will help you get closer to your goal of that plan? What exactly will you do? So we'll focus on healthier eating, physical activity, quiet time. We'll focus on time with others, taking balance, having spiritual renewal, maybe a nap. Anybody here like naps? Yes. So think of whatever it is that you could do. Take a minute to write this down. It's very personal, and no one has to know about it except you. Think of your confidence level. That's important to know. How confident are you? 0, you're not at all confident, to 10, wild horses couldn't get you off track. So where are you in your confidence level? And you should be at least at a 7 or higher. choose to use your creativity like I did, do some creative gardening, check out kp.org for recipes, get some support for a friend. I had 2 potlucks one weekend plus a spiritual group commitments and things, and I realized, I can't do it all. It was anguishing because I want to do it all. Anyone here like to do it all? And I just didn't go to one wonderful potluck, and I loved the people. And I said, stay home, and then that potluck that I went to, I made that dish with the flowers on it, the other one. So sometimes you have to make decisions. It's hard to cut back and prune because we want to connect with all our friends and family, but maybe we'll get too pooped. So at the bottom of this page, in fact, addresses some of that for us. Things that could make it difficult for me to fulfill my action plan. So only you know you best. What do you think has gotten you off track in the past, and what might get you off track this year? And be honest about it. Because then through this, you learn to be your own personal self-manager. That's the key of all our programs. And then what's your plan for overcoming these challenges? What I needed to do is take some time to contemplate, think of the events, and then ask my inner self. I call my inner self Bobby Sweetheart. Instead of the other things I have called me in the past. Bobby Sweetheart, what is it you need right now? Oh, I want to do it all. I love all my friends. I know I want to do everything. Can you? Well, no, I'm going to get lost. I need a nap already. Okay, dear, well, what are our options? Oh, I don't like lemons. Okay, I hear that. But what do we need to do? Call up the friends and let them know we're not coming to the potluck. Sometimes it can be hard, because you really want to do everything. So how will you overcome that? And what support or resources will I need to fulfill my action plan? So that's really important. This is your plan, your wonderful plan. And remember, consider this a gift that you give yourself wrapped up. It's a gift of presence, a gift of health, vitality. I call it friskiness, but Kaiser Permanente calls it thriving. But to thrive in body, in mind, and in spirit takes an ongoing investment. That's how my weight stays between 155 and 160 for 41 years. So I haven't had to lose a lot amount of weight for a long time. But to maintain that's what all this is about, to maintain healthy behaviors. In fact, so if you have your plan, do anyone want to share what your plan is? Some of your plans? Can you do that? Takes courage. Well, then why don't you take some minutes and share them at least with partners. So let's take a couple of minutes and share with your partners right next to you. Go for it. Think of it as a gift to yourself. Really, through the process, you come to know yourself and honor yourself more with the choices you make each day. It's not just loving all your family and friends, it's loving yourself in really practical ways. I want to also mention one other piece of this that's on if you flip over to the second page of that Explore Happy Home Holiday. Has anyone here ever heard of the acronym called HALT? Anybody? Stressed, and I put P for pressure, but stressed. I found out for me is that, and all of us, when we feel too pressured or stressed, then that's when we typically don't make the wisest choices. We're not feeling good when we use food to anesthetize like a drug, right? So do healthy behavior. So at our programs, Mastering Weight Management and other programs, there's a lot of suggestions on how to restore ourselves with things that are euphoric, but non-caloric. So I encourage you to watch out for the tired, lonely, angry, and pressured, and have a really wonderful time. Know as you do that you're really blessing yourself and blessing the world. Kaiser Permanente is a wonderful organization that feels such an incredible social mission, and I know we do such good in the world. But we each struggle with our own challenges of maintaining our own sanity. And my goal is to be able to survive and thrive in my career choice. So I wish that for you also. And it's truly been a pleasure to be here today, sharing those things with you. And one last official act, we want to have you fill out a program evaluation. So if you can do that, your company, you already know that it's the amazing Kaiser Permanente, and fill out the other parts of this, then leave it on the table as you go out today, because I know there's several other things they want you to do. But I just want to say it's a pleasure, because I know you do just some incredible things here. You're at the heart of the whole organization here. So keep the heart and blood system working well. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right, thank you very much, Bob.
Take it away, Dave.
All right, well, actually, Amelia's going to take it away for a few minutes. You're on now. I'm going to zoom the camera in on you.
Great.
You might end up being a test question for those who view the video, so there's a hint for you.
That's really tough act to follow, especially because I'm not also, I get a little bit nervous about speaking in front of people. So, but I guess I don't mind if it's something that I'm really passionate about, which right now is our Salvation Army families. We have 2 families that Northwest Firm has adopted, and I just sort of found out that my emails weren't reaching everyone. So I just wanted to just give you a quick summary of what we're doing. We still have some items left, and the deadline is Tuesday. So I'm asking for your help to fill the wish list items, and also the food box, which I'll get to in just a second. But so we have 2 families that we've adopted, and they are facing some financial difficulties. And have joined the Salvation Army Adopted Family Program, and so as many of you know, this is a program that Northwest Firm sponsors every year. So we still have 10 items left, and I would love to have people take these 10 items today, and we'll the deadline is Tuesday. That's why I'm sort of desperate for help, so that it's taken care of.
I'll take one.
We will. Yeah.
All right.
What are the items?
Okay, so some of the items are like coats. Some of the items are clothes, in general. A couple of the items, some of the kids wanted soccer jerseys for like their favorite team. However, those are pretty expensive, so I called, and there's a place called Far Post that's next to Joplin Field, and they have 2 T-shirts on hold under my name. So boys each wanted one of those, so those were more inexpensive as an option. That's something. Let's see, what else do we have here? Watch, CD, again, just clothes. Only 10 items. It's not really very many.
I'll take the watch.
And I think, what might help, especially because I can understand that some of these items are big ticket items, people can kind of
Right.
go in together, and so that way minimize the cost, the expenditure out of our pockets.
So here's my list of ideas for that, Susie. Thanks.
Oh, sorry.
Again, I appreciate that. First thing is what Susie said, like go in together with a coworker. I know the benefits every year in the firm, they get together and they split out, several items, which is awesome. Another idea would be gift card. If, let's say the coat, you're not really quite sure. Also, if you did want to purchase it and include the gift receipt, also, if it didn't fit, then that would be great as well. But if you wanted to do like a gift card, like Ross, Marshalls, wherever, so that they could purchase the item, that would also be great. Or another idea would be if you wanted to give me the cash, I would be more than willing to either shop for the item in particular or get the gift card. I can do it. There's 3 evenings this week that I can do with that up until Tuesday. So let me know, and I'm more than willing to help with that. I know that everybody is busy. Another idea is that you might want to talk about it like maybe a friend or a family member would say, hey, you know what, instead of us giving each other gifts because we have absolutely everything that we need, what do you guys think about maybe let's take a star and do this instead? It's just kind of another idea. So let's see. Moving next, food box. We have 2 food boxes set up. One in the Northwest Perm reception area, and then the other one outside of my cube in Ryder Contracting on the 10th floor. So we are collecting basically all non-perishable foods. I've sent out emails, have extra lists with me. If anybody is interested in that, another suggestion would be to maybe check your pantry at home. You know, bring in food. It's awesome. We'll take it. It just has to be non-perishable. And let's see, also gift cards to like Winco, Albertsons, Fred Meyer, that type of thing. We'll also take. Another idea would be to, as a family event, to take your kids shopping with you for the food or the item, just to get them involved. And it's, you know, it's a lot of fun. And this is something that I feel is really important, and I know a lot of you do too. It's really been great. Seeing everybody come by, get the stars, the gifts are awesome, the food is awesome. It's just, it's amazing. Just, you guys are awesome. So,
Malia, why don't you tell us a little bit about these 2 different families?
Okay.
Where they're at in the valley.
sure. We have, the first family is a family of 4 parents and 2 kids. They had their apartment broken into, and some of their items, including some of the kids' items, were stolen. And also, the dad is a seasonal worker, so he's right now, you know, could be, you know, possibly laid off. The second family is a family of 7. It's like an extended family of the parents, and the dad had recently had surgery, so he's not working. And there's a daughter and her husband. She's pregnant with her 2nd child. And her husband is also a seasonal worker. The child is the unborn child. Well, it could be born now because it was due this month. So that's the 7th family members. So that's their situation as far as I know. And if anybody has any questions at all, feel free to call me, email me. I'll sit over here. Feel free to come by and take a star. I have food lists, but we appreciate any help that you guys can give us. So anyway, that's all.
So Carrie was the first to raise her hand. Anybody else want to go ahead and sign up?
Great.
Can I just give you cash?
You can, whatever you want, and I can take something and do whatever, and I can give you, and I'll give you the receipt for the cash. No problem.
How about some newborn diapers?
Yes, that was actually on there.
Okay, I'll
Of
do
course,
that.
that was one of the items that's been taken, but of course diapers.
Always
The diapers that before I put like size 1 and size 2 for the diapers, wipes, any of that.
Okay.
And even if you wanted to give things that were, you know, appropriate for the ages, you know, we'll take that as well. So anything that you guys can give will, you know, as long as it's appropriate.
I'll make a contribution on my way out.
Excuse me?
I'll make a contribution on my way out.
And I will take that contribution. Okay, well, thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Leah.